Oh, baby, it's Saturday.
Welcome, everybody, back to the Daydream Arcade. If you're new here or you're coming back, I'm Darryl. This is my co-host, Brianna.
Hi. Welcome back to Spicy Saturday, y'all. Every Saturday, Darryl and I pick a specific subreddit, and we both choose 2 stories and read them to each other.
This week, we decided to cover the subreddit r/confession.
Before we get started, from both of us, thank you so much for showing so much love and support on the last few Spicy Saturdays. We got a whole bunch of beautiful, nice comments and so many likes, and just, you know, man, it felt really good. It felt good to do something that we both love to do, and you guys find enjoyment out of it. It's pretty pog. So this is from user Sleepy It's Not Safe Here. Oh boy, this one's a rough one.
Should we have any warnings before this at all?
Death. That's it. I ignored a friend in need because I was too tired. When I was 18, I lived alone in a studio apartment. It was sandwiched between 2 one-bedroom apartments. The neighbors to the right of me was a nice but kind of weird couple. It was a charming weird, though. They had a baby on the way. I met the girlfriend through my job. She was a regular at the restaurant I worked at. She had a service dog, and we'd always make sure they were fed well. I was homeless at the time, and she heard about it from a coworker. She told me there was an apartment available. I moved in shortly after and met her boyfriend. He was a biker dude and came off as tough, but was a really nice with a bit of a nutty side. A few months go by, and they have their baby. Everything was going well. She had a lot of allergies and got sick a few weeks later. The boyfriend would usually knock at random times just to smoke a cigar with me and talk. I was tired and had just worked a 13-hour shift. Normal for me, but I worked every day. It was around 5 a.m. when I heard knocking on my door. This knocking seemed different. I was too tired to answer, so I rolled over and went back to sleep. Then my phone started going off. I ignored it, more banging, which I ignored as well. I finally woke up for work and was headed out when I saw the neighbors gathered around outside. The girlfriend died from an allergic reaction, and the boyfriend was trying desperately to wake me up for help. I now always answer the door or the phone no matter how tired I am. Jeremy, I hope you and your baby boy are doing well. I hope they know that it's not their fault. They had no idea. A lot of the comments are pretty supportive, saying like, you know, don't blame yourself. It's a tragedy. There's no way you could have known. Yeah, this one comment that says, don't guilt yourself over something you couldn't have known at the time. Things that already happened can't be changed. And the only thing you can do is learn and move on, which it seems like you've done.
Hopefully OP is doing a little bit better since that. That's horrible. That's tragic.
This one is kind of a little more lighthearted, but it's kind of just insane.
Okay.
Oh my god. This is from user AgroBoy, B-O-I, Ned. I just drank a little bit of my grandmother out of morbid curiosity.
He drank his grandmother. That could mean a lot of different things.
You're about to find out.
Oh boy.
My mama passed away years ago when I was 12 and hit me severely in the gut with unresolved grief and depression. She has been cremated, and my mom left me with the responsibility to keep her urn in my room. I've since made her a shrine in her memory. My mom has now moved into a new place, now lives across the states, and I'm planning to visit her in the next week. She requested I bring some of Mama to spread her sorry.
Mama? Is it M-A-W, M-A-W?
Or Mama.
It's Mama?
Yeah. So she requested I bring some of Mama to spread her ashes in the river nearby her new house. Usually she likes to do this when we find a new place or a beach to take a little bit of someone we held close to our memory. Now, this is the first time I've touched the urn. It's never been opened since her cremation. I and my mother are very spiritual people, and I have the irrational fear that touching the urn somehow will cause some form of hex or misjudgment on my part, so I've never touched it. But I cannot take the entire thing with me, so I opened it and poured some into a tightly closed jar to take with on the trip. In order to get the ashes out, I used a smaller measuring cup to accurately get a portion of the container.
Gotta get Granny's measurements.
Why are you measuring Granny? With this, a film of residue was left in the smaller jar. In my extremely emotional, vulnerable state and morbid curiosity, when I went to wash when I went to wash out the small jar, I took a few sips from the murky water. I've since put the urn back in its place and refused to look at Mama's direction. I feel so conflicted. This grief is coming back, and now I feel a heavy sense of guilt and weight, like a child who accidentally broke a vase. Parts of me wish I never did this and told my mom I couldn't promise her wish. The other part of me is conflicted with the immoral action that I committed, a meager act of cannibalism. if it's even considered to be that anymore. I'm lost, confused, and now thrown back into a state of grief as if a part of my very dead mama has risen from the dead and has come back to haunt me for this stupid action.
Well, I mean, in kind of way, she kind of is, because she is inside of you now.
Like, damn, what? I don't know what. One of the top comments was, this was an episode of My Strange Addiction. The woman kept eating her husband's ashes out of the urn.
Have you ever watched My Strange Addiction?
I have. That's a crazy show. Another comment is, if you died and your weird as fuck grandchild started eating your ashes, would you be mad and like haunt them? I would. I think right after they drank my ashes and like the next time they took a shower and you know how like the mirror gets all fogged up, I'm gonna write, what the fuck? Like, WTF.
I know what you drank.
Or if I can like materialize into like a form of me and like I could speak and they would see me, I'd be like, what are you doing? They'd see like the general outline of me and maybe some features.
It's just an outline and some teeth.
It's just a frown. All right, what do you got for me?
This one comes by user farlove7894. I've been lying to my parents about going to college. I lied to my parents about dropping out of college in my second year.
He's like, I did this.
Yeah, I did this. I did. In case you guys are wondering what I went to school for, really quick, this is just going to throw out some free knowledge or whatever. Maybe if we end up getting on a Wikipedia one day, this is just free info for you guys.
He went to Clown Academy.
Yeah, I did.
To be a full-time clown.
If in the future, if we have a Wikipedia, I want people to just fuck with, like, you know, when people have early life or whatever.
Yeah.
I want people to just make up random stories for us.
Attended Clown Academy.
Attended Clown Academy, fought in Desert Storm. My parents think I've been going to community college for 2 years. In reality, I failed out on my second year, first semester, and have been leaving the house in the morning pretending to go to classes. So I didn't fail out of my second year. I kind of just went to the registrar's office and withdrew from all of my classes on the same day.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
In case you guys are wondering what I went to school for, I went for music, specifically audio engineering. It's summer now, my parents have been pressuring me to call my aunt who can help transfer me into a university, so I feel like today they will have to find out everything. I feel so bad for lying to them over and over, but having Hispanic parents, my whole life they've held me to a standard where I have to be perfect to be worth what they had to go through to get me to where I am. So I didn't know how to even possibly tell them. They don't believe in depression or things like that, so if I tried to explain that I had been struggling and failing because of my mental state, they wouldn't believe a word of it. Another thing is, and when they find out, my girlfriend will be to blame. She had nothing to do with my decision to stop going to my classes, but she always supported me through anything I decided. She often stressed about my parents finding out and told me to come clean several times, but I genuinely didn't want our relationship to fall apart because my parents would keep me away from her, assuming she had everything to do with me failing out of college. I don't know what to do anymore. Don't get me wrong. Love my parents. They raised me to be the individual that you see before you. The individual that, honestly, none of you really know because, you know, this is the internet. But, I mean, Brianna has known me for years now, so...
He's a fine young gentleman.
I can totally relate to the idea of not wanting to disappoint my parents. Background, I'm adopted. My brother is also adopted. We're both Korean, but we're not related by blood. And I always kind of unfairly compared myself to him because he was more of an academic, whereas I was kind of the clown, I guess.
My brother has all the smart genes. All the academic, he's got that. But street smart, I'd like to say I'm more proficient. You know, I'm not book smart whatsoever. And sometimes college is not for everyone.
Now that I'm in my late 20s, I kind of look back at college and there have been plenty of times throughout my 20s where I've been, you know, depressed or feeling down, thinking, oh, if I had just tried and, you know, given it a little bit more effort than I did, then I probably would have gotten a degree. I would have gone on to a university or something like that, and I would have ended up getting a degree in something that I really possibly enjoyed. But to be quite honest, I didn't enjoy the experience. It could have just been the fact that I don't want to say settled for community college, because it was a good community college. The community college that I went to was one of the best in the state. So it's not like they failed me. It's more like I decided to take myself out of my educational journey, so to speak. And to be quite honest, I've battled for years with that decision. And, you know, sometimes even to this day, I still kind of wonder, I get those what ifs. But in the grand picture of things, I don't think when I leave this earth that I'm necessarily going to look back and let's say I never go back to college. I highly doubt that my final thought is going to be, I wish I got a fucking degree, man.
You're not wrong. So sometimes degrees don't even get you that dream job you want or like something in that field. It's still pretty hard, even without a degree.
I don't have student loans, paid out of pocket, baby.
Exactly.
I mean, granted, that was a lot of money thrown down the drain, but, you know.
It's hard out here.
Money's just paper.
Grows on trees.
Yeah. This one's a little spicy. This is by user appropriate air 3036. The title is, I lied about my age and I don't know when to stop. So I, 17 female, met this guy, 22 male, on Tinder, and he thinks I'm 19. It doesn't sound that bad, but he believes that I'm taking finals soon and going to university, which I'll do in 2 years. We met several times, and he's really nice, and I think he's into me too. He met my parents, and I met his. I don't know when to tell him that I'm underage. And then in parentheses, it's legal in my country, but it's still weird. All the comments basically tell him immediately.
I just don't know what a 22-year-old would have in common with a 17-year-old and how that spawned into something. He met your parents and there was no inkling that you weren't 19.
A lot of other people saying, and I agree wholeheartedly, you are going to fuck that man's life up. Break it off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, find someone your own age. Get your 17-year-old ass off Tinder.
You should be worrying about your exams and what you're going to get for lunch in school. Get out of that situation, please.
Yeah, get a job.
Jesus Christ. She's still at school. Okay. Maybe this is just me being cynical, but I feel like he has to know, you know? Because 17-year-olds act a certain way. He met the parents met her, and there were no questions. Like, that's weird. I feel like he could kind of know and just doesn't care.
I know people wanted some updates, but some of the stories that we tell just are very recent and don't have updates yet. Maybe in the future we will get together just some of the stories that we've read and we'll just do updates on that. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments if you want that.
I actually have, so for my stories that I chose for Am I the Asshole, one of them does have an update and I have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What story was it?
You'll have to find out next Saturday. All right, Hools. You know what to do. Like the video. If you aren't already and you want to become a resident of Hoolville, please subscribe. Then you're a Hool. Easy peasy.
All you gotta do is just go down there, click a button. It just takes 2 seconds.
2 seconds. 2 seconds.
You know what also takes 2 seconds?
Your mom got him.